New Fox polling now with some unwelcome news for the Hillary Clinton campaign. Karl Rove, former Deputy White House Chief of Staff to President Bush and a Fox News contributor live in Austin. Karl, how are you? And good morning to you. Here's what we found. At the moment, Americans see Secretary Clinton as the least ethical White House hopeful. 44% believe that. That's 7% higher than Chris Christie, and we got about 8 on this list right now, going down to Walker in Wisconsin and Huckabee in Arkansas, rating the best there. For Hillary Clinton, though, what is at play here?
Well, let's put it in a little bit of context first. Americans don't trust people who run for political office. Right from the get-go, there's a distrust, but it says something that she is the worst of 8 that were tested, and not close with a lot of them. The second thing is that only half the people in the survey said they were closely following the situation regarding foreign contributions to the Clinton Foundation. And yet 57% of them said that she had been unduly influenced at the State Department by these foreign contributions to her husband's foundation. So this is not a good place to be, and she really gets in trouble when you start looking at the kinds of groups in the electorate that are going to have a big impact next year, and that she needs to do well. Her overall number, now remember, the question says, are they more ethical or less ethical than other politicians? Her overall is 29% saying more ethical, 44% say less. But among young people, 31, 35, but those that are aged 35 to 54, 26, 49, and among independents, it's 22% say she's more ethical than other politicians. 48% say she's not. So not good numbers, and it's going to have a downward impact on her overall ratings and on the ballot questions, I suspect, in the months to come.
Oh, we found in our polling, independents dropped about 11 points, which, I mean, that's significant in a matter of a couple of weeks there. Unfavorable for hers right now, a considerable too at 49%, to her favorable at 44.
Well, 40. Yeah, 45% favorable, and last summer it was 54% favorable. So you can see that her rollout last year and her announcement and all of this trouble is starting to have a downward impact on her favorable number, and I think it's going to simply get worse for the next several months.
So then here becomes the question then, Karl. When does she address this, and how does she do it? I mean, you write today in the Wall Street Journal, does she really think campaigning in a cocoon will now make her a better candidate later? She's taken 8 questions in 32 days, some of which she has and has not answered. Now, what is her strategy on that?
Well, I think her strategy, I'm mystified by it, but the best explanation you can have is the 8 questions. The last one is on April 21st. It looks like what she's going to simply do is try and run out the clock on this. Basically, let everybody talk about this. She's not going to respond, and she's not going to allow herself to be asked by the questions by the press, and then we're going to go on to something else. But I think it's a problem. I think this thing is not going to go away easily. It's going to linger, and the best thing to do is just simply to get it done and get it over with and answer all the questions and give the best explanation she possibly can.
But for now,
though,
maybe the smartest calculation is to do what she's doing. I mean, with no other strong competitor on the field, why not? Why change?
She has no strong competitor in the Democratic side, but in the latest Fox poll, she now has fallen behind Jeb Bush, whom she has led consistently heretofore in the Fox polls. Why is that? I think it's because this is having a corrosive effect. Take a look at the very unfavorables. For example, in the last month, she has grown 6%. Her negatives have grown 6%, and the very unfavorables have grown 9%. So she's polarizing the electorate. This issue's not going to go away. It's going to continue to be out there, and better to address it and get it behind her, particularly since she faces no opposition to the Democratic primary. She's going to try and run out the clock. And you think Republicans are not going to bring up these kind of issues in the general election? She's kidding herself if she thinks that's the case.
Let's see how long that can go. Thank you, Karl. Karl Rove with analysis today from Austin, Texas. Thank you, Martha.